Welcome, everybody, to our very first Master of Arts in Leadership Designer Symposium. Welcome to you who are online watching as well. This is actually one of our first hybrid events where we are actually doing presentations live and also virtually. So this will be an exciting, dynamic experience for all of us, and I'm very excited that you are here to celebrate our MAIL candidates as they finish their degree. They have worked very, very hard to get to this point. We have pushed them a lot, and some of them will say yes to the point of, do I still want to do this? Do I want to quit yet? But they were resilient, and they did a great job. So tonight, we are going to showcase all of our candidates and the projects that they designed for their specific audiences. But before I do that, I realize there are some, virtually and live, who may not be fully familiar with what it is that their friends and family have been a part of this last year and a half. So we wanted to give you just a little bit of an introduction into the Master of Arts in Leadership. And one of the things that we're most proud of about this program and this curriculum is that we actually used a human-centered design process to develop the curriculum that these students went through. And so we are evidence of the value of human-centered design that our students also participated in. And we really listened to what are the future needs and competencies of employers and organizations to meet the new challenges in a new era. And we've learned a lot, and we've wrestled with a lot of challenges that we're facing in organizations and as leaders. And so this program, our students embarked on not knowing fully what they were jumping into, I'm pretty sure at the beginning, into a lot of different elements of leadership that may not commonly always be seen as relevant. So I want to show you that we built, if this works. So we built the MAIL into what we call the 4D model of learning: discover, design, develop, and deliver. And so the goal here is that every student would discover the various dimensions of leadership that would be important to an individual, a team, and an enterprise. So understanding self, understanding others, and then understanding how to grow the organization. Then, in addition to that, there are some new, I think, if anything, COVID has taught us a lot about needing to meet challenges in a new way. So part of that is designing new initiatives that help develop the competencies of curiosity, inquiry, and experimentation into the organization and as leaders, being willing to risk, being willing to engage change differently, being willing to look at problems in a different way. And as a result of designing that, to develop skills and tools that will really enable leaders to be active and present in the organization, not just with who they are, but with what they can deliver to their teams. Practical tools like understanding change leadership and the dynamics of that, understanding the future and the future of leadership and the future of organization, as well as specific things around conflict, emotional intelligence, utilizing the Enneagram and understanding who you are as an individual, and then how do you pull out the best in others. And those skills and tools will be forever growing and are on the cusp of most organizations. They don't even realize they need it yet. It's just being discovered. And so they are on the forefront of those skills and tools. And then to actually deliver. It's not enough to just know who you are. You have to be able to deliver something to those that you're serving. And so in the deliver component, you are delivering innovative solutions to complex challenges in ways that organizations need and desire. And we do this through all kinds of mechanisms, from understanding our strategies, understanding who we are, how do we develop, how do we design workshops, and most importantly, which leads to this project, how do we design solutions to complex challenges based on human-centered design. So with that, design thinking has been a huge part of this program, really helping people to design with the human end user in mind and not just on paper with data, right? Data is really important. We use data in the process, but it's the human emotions and feelings and thoughts around the challenges that this process seeks to design. So this final project culminates using all 4 of these Ds, the discover, design, develop, and deliver. I want to show you our designers for this evening. We have several, and I'll introduce them each as they present. But their smiling faces means they survived. I just want you to know. See, they're still smiling. But we will be excited. We call them designers because they're designers in tangible things, but they're also designers in leadership, right? Leading by Design. So we'll be excited to hear from all of them. All of them have very different projects and have worked with different areas and different people with different spheres of influence. And to end that, some of you might not know what design thinking is, and we think it's really important that you kind of understand where they got all this information. So design thinking is a linear process, but it is by no means a linear experience, right? So there are steps that are involved, but it requires a lot of collaboration, a lot of iteration, a lot of challenge, a lot of discussion, and a lot of creativity within teams and within themselves. So the design thinking process came out of Stanford University, and most of our faculty have experienced that and have gone through that process themselves. And there are key steps that our candidates went through to get to these final outcomes. We call them exploration, empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and test. And I'm not going to go into a lot of depth about that, except to say, with a human-centered design process, the exploration and empathy means that you have to talk to people and not the people who are the leaders in the organization, but you're talking to end users, the ones who will ultimately benefit from what's being designed. And that could be a range of people, as you'll discover tonight. Secondly, once you have that information, then you identify what the problem is. So you don't go in knowing what the problem is. You identify it after you've done all of that work, and you define what it is. And through that, then you ideate and you brainstorm, and the ideation process is very iterative in and of itself, right? It causes a lot of like what ifs, yes and mentalities that build upon really crazy ideas to come to some solutions that can be really practical for an organization. And once you do that, you build what you saw, the solution, and then you test it. You take it back to those end users and you say, this is what we designed for you. What do you think? And you get that feedback, and then you iterate again, and you get more feedback, and you iterate again. So what you will see tonight is a culmination of multiple iterations, multiple discussions, tons of feedback, and you'll see their final product that many are seeing implemented, or at least on the cusp of, they just need a little push to implement it. But we're really excited, and it's so interdisciplinary in the fact that it's going to hit from law enforcement to education to just regular employment activities. So I think that's, I want to show you the pictures. The three of us, those pictures of us smiling. Each candidate received a design coach, and the design coach was able to do one-on-one training and coaching and talking. And so the coaches for this project were myself, Dr. Gilbert, Dr. Francis Wu, and Curtis Isosaki, and they each had some of our candidates one-on-one, and it was such a valuable, meaningful time. And so we also had a speaking coach, Bob Vuz, who helped them with preparing for this evening. So I'm really excited to share with you our wonderful students. So now we're going to get started, and the very first person who will be presenting this evening is Alexandra Gore, and she'll be presenting virtually for us. So we're going to do a little transition and get her set up, and then we'll be good to go.